What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Before I get into this little retrospective and shout out video, I just want to talk about my scent of the day, which is Rouge Avignon from Fade On. I was at Oswald today for the first time, and I picked this up and another fragrance, and I'll be reviewing this, if not this week, then next week. It's a winner, I'll tell you that much as of now. We'll probably review the other one at some point as well. But this is my New Year's scent of the day. So I wanted to do a quick retrospective, as this I think is the 96th or 95th video that I've made, and it was really close to 1 year ago I did my first video. And when I started my channel, I intended it to be 50% male shaving and grooming products, 50% fragrances, and obviously that didn't happen. For really two reasons. It's been more than 80% fragrances, 19% grooming and shaving products, and about 1% to tech products. The first reason why it hasn't been distributed equally is I had a great opportunity to have the Decant Shop sponsor 3 videos a month where they send me the niche fragrances that I want for free. I review them and give them a plug in the video, and that's worked out really well for a lot of different reasons as well. They've never tried to edit my videos or my views. The owner of Decant Shop, Adriana, has become a good friend of mine, and she doesn't produce the scent, so there's no pressure on me to not be completely honest when I get a scent. From the beginning, she's implored me to be honest. Even when she has relationships with the brands like Scent Story and Cherchez Midi, she gave me bottles of all of the 24 scents and a bunch of samples of Cherchez Midi with the understanding that I'm going to say what I think. Now, thankfully, I really like the 24 fragrances and had a lot of good things to say about Cherchez as well. It also works out really well because I believe in the Decant Shop. It's a business I believe in. It really is cheaper. The selection really has grown. Is it as big as Perfume Port and Surrender to Chance? No. Is it cheaper? Yes. Is the liquid measured prior to going in the vial? Yes. And do you get your fragrances faster than any other service? Also yes. And I've also gotten to get my nose on so many great scents from Decant Shop. Andy Tower scents, Nasamato, Mouage, Montal, Montserrat, Armani Privé, Dior Privé, Frederic Malle, Creed by Kilian, etc. Just so much great stuff. It saved me money, helped me get subscribers, and expand my knowledge base. The second reason my channel has been more fragrance centric is because that's really what I've zeroed in on in terms of what I enjoy. Will wet shaving and male grooming products always have a place on my channel? Absolutely. But fragrance is where my heart is. So much that I'm looking at a variety of different ways to do this for a living, whether that's through a website of some sort, or working for a brand or a store, or consulting houses, starting my own house. All the options are on the table right now, and I've bought almost 200 bottles of fragrance this year, so this really is what I enjoy doing. I'm always checking for new shaving creams and soaps and grooming products, and if I find ones I really enjoy, I do feature them, as I've done with Captain's Choice and Barrister and Man and Razor Rock, etc. I wanted to let you guys know, you'll have to excuse me, I have a cold, about why I got into fragrances in the first place and tell you a bit more about myself. So, anyone who's watched enough of my videos knows that I've always worn fragrances, really since I was 13 in 1992. You know, I wore Fahrenheit and Polo in 7th grade, and then I moved on to stuff like Polo Sport and Hilfiger and Nautica in high school. In college, it was the usual suspects: La Mer, Coron by D&G, L'Eau d'Issy, Acqua di Gio. You know, I always say that I wore what my friends liked in high school, what girls like in college, and what I like now. And I kept on wearing stuff, mainly like Cannabis Santal and high-end designer stuff when I was about 27. And then I started to date a girl that I thought I was going to marry. We had a 3-year relationship, easily the most serious of my life. You know, I wasn't a playboy before then, but I definitely did my thing. And that ended really unexpectedly. And around that time, and I really can't discuss this for a lot of different reasons, a good friend of mine was arrested and charged with murder. Those two things, the girl breaking up with me, and the murder, you know, all really hit me hard at the same time. And it was really unexpected, and it kicked my ass. And those two things together got me really deep into pills and booze and stuff like that. And it was a really long, hard fight out of that, and coming out of that. And when I did come out of that, I started to do really high-end things for myself. I had always paid a lot of money for clothing, Fashion was something that I lived and breathed, but I never stepped into the next tier in fragrances. And then one day I went into Barney's, and I knew that was that next tier, and I asked the beautiful counter woman, could she recommend a few fragrances for me? She recommended some real jewels, Musk Ravageur, Sushi Imperial, and one was Vetiver Extraordinaire. And I bought Vetiver Extraordinaire. It was, I think, $260 then, and that really catapulted my love of fragrances and me sort of learning that there was more out there than just a designer sense. And I love fragrances because I've always explored my senses, whether through wine and music or art and film. And while I developed my sense of smell while drinking really good wines, I never really paid that much of attention to my sense of smell. And just getting that bottle, guys, and opening it and not having any idea of what it might smell like when you blind buy is such a thrill. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I try to sample before I buy to make informed decisions, especially with niche. But then, you know, there is that thrill that guys like Ryan and Renee and Mark get when you blind buy a niche and you get the box and you have no idea if you're going to hate or love the fragrance. And you can really never know until you smell it, no matter what anyone says. You know, it's probably the thrill a gambler gets while watching the fourth quarter of a football game or the last leg of a horse race. And as much as I love fragrances that smell great and get compliments, I also do appreciate the art of fragrances like Another 13 and Mink and Bois Farine. Don't get it twisted, guys. All we are doing here together is exploring art. And most of us are exploring it at the absolute highest level. Just because it's not in a gallery doesn't mean it's not priceless. And having things in my collection like Black Afghano and Jubilation 25 and Amber Narguilé and Dior Homme and Egoiste make me so happy to explore and experience the greatest fragrances in the world. And I love collecting. I read an article one time about beating depression, and one of the suggestions was to collect something, and I totally get that. It gives you something to constantly look forward to, and that's a great thing for people who don't have much to look forward to. I'm a very lucky guy. I have a good job in this economy, a loving family. I live in a high-rise in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I wear amazing clothes, go to amazing restaurants. I've been to some of the best restaurants in the world, and wear amazing fragrances. So I have a lot of reasons to be happy. Now, why I don't get here in front of the camera, there's a bunch of reasons. You know, I have a job in which I interface with really, really wealthy people who donate money to the company I represent, and I would never want to jeopardize that in any way, saying something stupid on camera. And I really value my freedom of expression, so I don't want to watch what I say, and I feel like I either had to pick one or the other. And I picked to not be in front of the camera. Also, I do want my shows to be about fragrances, not about me. Another reviewer one time made a comment about me having a big ego, and he's right. I'm a cocky, shit-talking New York motherfucker. All day, every day, like C-SPAN, homie. But when it comes to this shit, I try not to be cocky. I try to represent the product as best as I can. Now, is it possible in 2013, when I switch to the fragrance industry? I've had a few conversations with houses and retailers, and we'll see. You know, I've got a great job now, so the offer would have to be right. But fragrances are my passion, and if that happens, then I might get in front of the camera. Also, you know, I'm constantly at Min and Bergdorf and Agents de Venustis, and I kind of like to be anonymous at those spots. I try to pay in cash because I want their retail experience. You know, I do know Mindy at Min, but other than that, I'm a very DL person. I don't like talking on phones, being in photos or in videos. I prefer to keep shit on the low. That's just the way I've always been in my life, but we'll see what happens next year. I also wanted to do this video to let you guys know what you can expect in 2014 here. We're going to be starting out the year with 4 best of lists, one in each week of January. 5 lists, actually. All top 10 designer fragrances I purchased last year, top 10 niche purchases, top 10 value purchases, top 10 scents that I sampled that I still don't have bottles of, and top 10 regrettable fragrances. So those are basically the sampled ones are going to be about what I really love that I have a sample of but don't have a bottle yet. Also, there'll be a winter starting lineup video in January and the 2-a-week shows that I normally do, and part 8 of my collection, which I know my subscribers know is an ongoing series. I think there'll be more niche reviews than designer reviews in 2014. I'm still collecting Chanel and Dior and Hermes and Mugler, but I've gotten many of the designer scents that I really wanted, and I'm nowhere there in terms of niche, not even close. So we should have a long time to do those. Daily grooming routine and shaving videos will also be coming up as well. Shaving routine videos. I want to really thank my subscribers. When we get to 1,000, and we are getting there, there will be a giveaway video, probably $100 at Decant Shop. Obviously, without you guys, none of this is possible. I want to thank some fellow reviewers, and if I forget you, please forgive me, because I love most of you people. I want to thank Raj, who put me down in the Fraycom Reviewer Illuminati. Adriana, who my channel would not be what it is without her. Creed Franks, who I came into this with at the same time. Renee, who's really supported my channel. Jay Fragrance Wire, Steven, Gary, Sebastian, Greggy, Lupe, who I've recently gotten a little online tussle with, but I'm apologizing now to him for that. You know, you guys watch a lot of Lupe videos, I'm sure, but if you really know the guy's a really good guy. He really is always trying to help out new reviewers, and he's got a big heart, I think, and so, you know, he really is a great guy. Also want to shout out Paolo, Abraham, Coach Rob, Vitor, who was another guy I had a bit of a rough start with, because we can both be smartasses. And the OGs of this shit, of course. Frunkinator, Carlos, Cody, Dan, Al, Mark, the fucking Fragrance Godfather, Hero, Brad, Fragrance Brothers, who are my favorite reviewers. You know, my favorite new reviewers: Freddie, Chad, Joe, Eric Hill. Another new favorite of mine, Igor, of course. If you guys in the fragrance world might not know who he is, but he's a big part of the online frag community. Frank, Freeze, Jason Budd, another new favorite reviewer of mine. Again, if I forgot you, I am sorry. I also want to thank all the houses that have shown me love. You know, Byredo, Histoire Parfum, Lorenzo Villarisi, Miller Harris, Andy Tower, Imaginary Authors, Claudette MDCI, who hooked me up so much when I was starting my channel off. And again, my subscribers, the guys I email with back and forth. 100T Durden, who started his own fire channel. Joe Devanzo, Viking Shaver, Jesus, Wags Bass, all you guys, Kurt Flirt, everyone that's been down from the beginning. And of course, all the fragrance stores in New York, all the retailers I fuck with, everyone at Min, Oswald, Barney's, and Saks, and Bergdorf's. You know, I blogged for a while about music and food, and those online communities are filled with snobby dickheads who look at everyone within the universe as competition. I've been absolutely blown away by how accepting and friendly Fraycom has been, and not just to me, to all the new reviewers. You know, the way the veterans embrace the newer guys, it's all love. There's no huge group where people shit talk everyone else. Trust me, that sort of thing doesn't exist. It just doesn't. People have asked me about that. The reviewers all communicate with each other on Facebook and bullshit back and forth, but there's no shitting on other reviewers or excluding people. Everyone, at least in my view, is about collaborating and helping people out. Here's a quick example. The owner of Decant Shop is going to send me a free 8 ml of Jardin Amalfi as a thank you for promoting the site. It fell through because she never got the flacon. And I made a comment on Facebook how that bummed me out. And a reviewer who I won't name, only because I don't want everyone hitting him up for free shit, messaged me and said, I got you, give me your address, I'll send you the 8 ml of Jardin Amalfi. I didn't take it, for the record. That's just not the way I am. But that's the kind of love and friendship that's within this group. It's all positive. And as crazy as this may sound, there are some people in Fraycom that I think I go to if I need real advice about things. They're all smart and exist in all different walks of life. Car salesmen, web developers, rock stars, bus drivers, business students, international hitmen, or whatever the fuck Mark Rhodes is. So, I want to thank all my subscribers, everyone I mentioned, and have a happy new year. I'm going to do big things in 14 on this channel. You have my word in that, and that is all. So I want to mention one more time, if you want to ask me questions about fragrances, music, fashion, whatever, hit me up on maxmo@gmail.com. I answer all of my emails as fast as I can, and I love hearing from you guys. If you want advice, have questions, whatever, I'm always here. Happy New Year. I want to thank you all. I'm Maximilian. I'm